I guess I should sleep. I feel like it's something I should say, that I should turn on the video making gubbins here and lay something down. Something about finding a book on a windowsill that was left out, as if to say, if anyone wants this, please take it, just before I embarked upon this nomadic lifestyle in this shithole town that I had to suffer for about 15 years or so. That book was a book on birds. Full of pictures of birds. And it just happened to be the same book just waiting for this car. The book that I used to look at when I was a kid, when I was a very enthusiastic young ornithologist. Getting like acid indigestion. Take a couple of these mad pills. Yeah, I found this book that someone had left out. A copy of the same book, hardback book. Pictures of birds. I think it's pretty much just like British birds, you know, without getting it out and looking at it. I used to draw these birds. I used to go out with my little notebook and pen and, you know, write down 6 sparrows, 1 pied wagtail, and a chaffinch, a couple of crows. And I feel that book, it was timed very well as a reminder, because there is this notion of being a spark of pure goodness that is wrapped around in flesh and through processes of the world. And growing up, we tend to lose contact with our initial spark of goodness in certain ways. For some people, they extinguish it almost entirely, sometimes entirely. And some people's spark shine a little bit brighter than others. But you see that spark of pure goodness in children. And right now, when, you know, I mean, last few nights, as I've gone down deep into meditation, I have encountered a deep-seated anger that is entirely justified, a righteous indignation. And there's no point in trying to pretend that isn't there, because it is. So it helps to center in on that notion of the original spark of goodness, knowing that it's still there, even though you're justified to feel the way that you do, but not to focus on it completely to the point where it obsesses you. The problem with obsession is that it leads to madness. Trouble is, when people are actively trying to destroy you in the most heinous and despicable ways, and you have to suffer that process drawn out over many months, I can be forgiven for looking forward to that day when the tables are turned. because they will turn. And I know that I have to hold steadfast. And as much as I love this lifestyle, I can tell you there's been some difficult nights. Not so much concerning the cold or the stupid fucking bullshit lockdown, which means I can't have a shower for weeks on end. There are a couple of places, you know, a few people help me out, nice people, but I get by. Trouble is with the lockdown, it means that I can't go and get what I really need. It means I have to settle for substitution on occasion. And that can be frustrating. What got me thinking about this book is that I hear owls hooting in the night quite often. And I see foxes as well, sometimes out on their nightly hunts. And sometimes I see something, just for a moment, I'm not sure exactly what it is. But that's nothing unusual. There is no quick fix. There is no perfect answer. But it does pay to try and bring things into balance, harmony, and evolution, and to look at the big picture and to center yourself in on that notion of that spark of goodness, and be patient. I've lost many worldly attachments, and I wouldn't say no worldly ambition whatsoever, because there are certain things that need to be looked after, to be expressed, to be explored. But I never sit around thinking about my pension or how I can get rich or anything like this. It just doesn't interest me. What I do care about needs to be completed. It needs to be expressed. Oh, the creatures of the night. What music they make. I don't know if that comes out on the system. Probably not, because I've got headphones on. There's a few oak trees as well out on a green here. Beautiful specimens. But now it's time to rest. Every day we get a little bit closer. And like I've said many times, a human life, it may be long in the living, but it's so incredibly short. And there are things to get concerned about or to be concerned with, but there are many, 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 many things that are a trap. The circus. The circus is on your phone, as my teacher has expressed. God. I'll tell you what, I'll just wait for this car to go by. Rather inconveniently bringing its noise into the equation right now. There's someone that I'm concerned about when I see that they're posting on Facebook like 20 to 30 times a day, and they're extremely politically polarized. And they've complained of or confided that they suffer from anxiety and depression, some equation like this. It's no wonder. How much can you take upon yourself every day? I can tell you that taking half an hour in complete observation of the mind, or just focusing on the breath, is a blessed relief that brings clarity and renewed focus. And watching the thoughts as well for, perhaps 10 minutes, watching them keenly, objectively, and retaining them, trying to retain them, and then going back through the process to strengthen the memory. Oh, there's something about this memory work. There's something very particularly special about this memory work that strengthens the mind and creates a kind of inner joy and centeredness, even in the midst of difficulties. But there is something that I'm neglecting. There's something that I'm neglecting. And that is, I'm not playing the game enough. The social game, for my own benefit. Because it repulses me so much, I've become a little bit extreme in that regard. So I know that I need to pull myself back in, and the summertime will be a great help in fixing this, because I'll tell you what, when it's freezing outside, when you're not working, you kind of want to sit still, and you don't really want anything too complicated. Basic survival is hard enough. There will come a time in the future, providing providing all is well, where once I've reached a certain level of ability and understanding, that I will myself create a circle of, I wouldn't say students, that would be a little bit too high-minded and presumptuous. But I will form a group of people who are beginners, and from the position that I am at, as soon as possible. I'm not going to wait till, I've not going to wait till things get too ridiculous, too ridiculously advanced, if you like. But there will come a time in the near future where I feel that I can guide people who are new to these particular techniques that I talk about in my videos in this Hermetic meditation. But obviously it will take on the character of my own unique journey in certain respects, not all respects. So I look forward to that day. I'm not sure exactly when, but it will happen. And we will see. Perhaps just a couple of people for a long time, I'll start with one, then maybe two, then maybe three. Maybe it'll take a long time to build up, or maybe it will just create its own momentum at one stage. But a small group nonetheless. And we will begin to create a small community of people that are related to the larger community more predominantly, but as our own small circle, the focus will be on trying to pick my words wisely here. An homogeneous, hermetically inspired, indigenous, I'm almost going to use the word Celtic, but no word would suffice. That which was lost through dedication, meditation, contemplation, I have already turned the master key in this respect. and the essential ingredient is already in place. And from this position, there can be flowering. You see, that which has come before in this respect has always been too heavily Christianized. It's not enough to examine the Irish, Celtic, or the, wherever you want to go in the country, or whatever myths, legends, writings are left. It's not enough to look at the Norse or the Anglo-Saxon too, although there's not much left of any of this stuff. But to literally connect with this particular landscape and start to allow a resonance and an opening for something which is at once new and yet at the same time inspired and fed by that which was lost. And the fulcrum, the essential pillar, will most obviously be Blessed Lady Alba. This needs to happen for various reasons that I won't go into because it might seem rude or it might get too complicated and it's kind of unnecessary, really, but it needs to happen. And it will happen. Good night for now.